On the morning of April 10, 1912, the port of Southampton, England, was buzzing with an electric excitement. The reason? The Royal Mail ship Titanic, the largest and most luxurious ocean liner ever built, was about to set sail on her maiden voyage to New York City. People from all walks of life, from some of the wealthiest families in the world to hopeful immigrants seeking a new beginning in America, crowded the docks. The ship was a marvel of modern engineering, boasting a swimming pool, a gymnasium, opulent dining halls, and grand staircases. It was famously and fatefully declared to be unsinkable, as Titanic pulled away from the shore with crowds cheering and horns blaring. No one could have imagined the tragedy that lay ahead. The first few days of the voyage were a dream. First-class passengers enjoyed lavish parties and gourmet meals, while even those in third class experienced a level of comfort unheard of for transatlantic travel at the time. The ship sailed smoothly across the calm, cold Atlantic, a floating palace making its grand debut. The wireless operators, Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, were busy sending personal messages for the passengers, telegrams of business deals, friendly greetings, and travel updates. It was a picture of progress and prosperity, but hidden within that stream of wireless messages were warnings. Other ships in the North Atlantic were reporting large fields of ice. These warnings were received by the Titanic's wireless room, but not all of them reached the bridge. On the night of Sunday, April 14th, the sea was unnervingly calm, like a sheet of black glass, which made spotting icebergs, which are normally identified by waves breaking at their base, incredibly difficult. The air temperature dropped sharply. Despite the warnings and the freezing conditions, the Titanic continued to steam ahead at a high speed of around 22 knots. At 11:40 p.m., a lookout in the Crow's Nest, Frederick Fleet, spotted something dark directly in the ship's path. An iceberg. He frantically rang the warning bell and telephoned the bridge, shouting, "Iceberg, right ahead." The officer on duty immediately ordered the engines to be put in reverse and the ship to be turned hard to starboard. But it was too late. The massive liner couldn't turn quickly enough. For about 10 seconds, the ship scraped along the submerged part of the iceberg, a sound some survivors later described as like tearing a long strip of calico. On deck, the impact was surprisingly subtle. Many passengers didn't even wake up, but below the waterline, the damage was catastrophic. The iceberg had punched a series of holes along the ship's starboard side, breaching 5 of its 16 watertight compartments. The ship's designer, Thomas Andrews, was on board for the maiden voyage. After a quick inspection of the damage, he delivered the grim verdict to Captain Edward Smith. The ship could stay afloat with 4 compartments flooded, but not 5. He estimated the great Titanic had, at most, an hour or 2 before it would sink beneath the waves. The unsinkable ship was sinking. Panic had not yet set in. The order was given to uncover the lifeboats and get passengers on deck with their life belts. But there was a fatal flaw in the plan. The Titanic, in compliance with outdated safety regulations, only carried enough lifeboats for about half of the people on board, roughly 1,178 individuals. The crew, unprepared and poorly drilled for such an emergency, struggled to manage the evacuation. The women and children first protocol was followed, but chaos and confusion led to many lifeboats being launched only partially full. As the ship's bow began to dip noticeably into the water, the reality of the situation dawned on everyone. The band, led by Wallace Hartley, famously assembled on deck and began to play, a calm and courageous act in the face of growing terror. They played to soothe the passengers, their music a haunting soundtrack to the unfolding disaster. The wireless operators, Phillips and Bride, stayed at their post, tirelessly sending out distress signals, CQD and the new signal, SOS, hoping for a rescue that was hours away. By 2:05 a.m., the last lifeboat had departed. Over 1,500 people were still on the sinking ship. The deck, once horizontal, was now tilting at a severe angle, making it nearly impossible to stand. The ship's lights flickered once, then went out, plunging everything into terrifying darkness. Then, with a series of deafening groans and roars of tortured metal, the Titanic's stern rose high out of the water, silhouetted against the starry sky before the immense stress caused the ship to break in two between the third and fourth funnels. The bow section sank first, followed shortly after by the stern, which stood vertically for a moment before sliding into the icy depths at 2:20 a.m. on April 15th. The sounds of the ship's final moments were replaced by the chilling cries of over 1,000 people struggling in the freezing water with a temperature of -2 degrees Celsius. Those in the lifeboats a short distance away could only listen in horror, too afraid of being swamped to row back and attempt a rescue. Within minutes, the cries faded as hypothermia claimed the lives of nearly everyone in the water. Only one lifeboat returned to pull a few survivors from the sea. The RMS Carpathia, which had received the Titanic's distress call, had been racing through the dangerous ice fields at full speed to help. It arrived on the scene around 4 a.m., nearly 2 hours after the Titanic had disappeared. Its crew was met with a heartbreaking sight: a few scattered lifeboats floating on a calm sea, surrounded by the debris of what was once the grandest ship in the world. Over the next few hours, the Carpathia picked up all 712 survivors from the lifeboats. They were the lucky few. More than 1,500 men, women, and children had perished in the disaster. The news of the sinking sent shockwaves around the globe. How could a ship so advanced, so celebrated, meet such a tragic end on its very first voyage? Inquiries were held in both the United States and Britain. The investigations led to major improvements in maritime safety, including the establishment of the International Ice Patrol to monitor icebergs in the North Atlantic and new regulations requiring ships to carry enough lifeboats for everyone on board and for lifeboat drills to be mandatory. The story of the Titanic is more than just a shipwreck. It's a powerful human story of courage and cowardice, of social class divides, and of the dangers of overconfidence in technology. For decades, the ship rested undisturbed, a silent memorial on the ocean floor, its exact location a mystery. Then, in 1985, a team led by Dr. Robert Ballard discovered the wreck nearly 2.5 miles below the surface. The images of the ghostly, decaying vessel brought the story back to life for a new generation. Today, the Titanic remains a subject of intense fascination. It reminds us of a specific moment in history, a time of great change and ambition on the eve of World War I. It serves as a cautionary tale about hubris, but also as a testament to the human spirit the band that played on, the engineers who stayed below to keep the lights on as long as possible, and the countless acts of sacrifice that occurred as the great ship went down. The Titanic's maiden voyage was its last, but its story continues to sail on, a timeless and tragic legend. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history.